Hello, Ogres, and welcome to a little something different. Brandon and I weren't able to record an episode this week, so Bucky sent us his first episode of Bucky Sound Off, where he interviews YouTuber Zork from the channel Imperial Knowledge. Next week, we'll have our yearly visit from Viscount Terry W. Irvin II, and we're excited to speak with him again. And don't forget that Stephen Hines' Kickstarter is now live. Go to Kickstarter and search Soccer Mom Killer to pledge. Thanks for sending us this episode, Bucky, and until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt and your tusks sharp. Welcome to Bucky's Sound Off.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bucky's Sound Off. Today, I am with my friend from the Netherlands, owner of the YouTube channel Imperial Knowledge, over 10,000 subscribers, Zork. Hello, Zork. How are you today?
I fucked it up, didn't I?
It's fine. Hey, it's fine. This is the first ever episode, so who cares?
I was like, he says, I'm now with my friend from the Netherlands, and you were like silent. I was like, oh no, do I have to say something?
I was thinking of what to say.
I'm so badly prepared.
It's okay. I am too. I woke up 10 minutes ago.
This is already going great.
Yep.
But
perfect.
Yeah.
So how are you today?
I'm fine, actually. There's some people in front of my house staring up the street, so I was like, well, this interview could be perfect now because I can't leave even if I want to.
Yes, I have planned everything perfectly.
Yes, I noticed.
Yes, I totally knew that was happening before 5 a.m. this morning when I checked my messages when I got up to pee.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so what made you start a YouTube channel about Elder Scrolls lore?
Well, to be honest, it's a bit of a vague story because I only half remember it myself. I apparently told it in 2 different videos, and those stories are apparently different from each other. And I don't understand how that came to be. So the only thing I knew that you wanted to do in this sort of interview was at least go over how I started my channel. So I actually sort of looked it up in my old messages because my phone died in the water this vacation. So I got my old phone back, and on there are all my old conversations. And I actually just did it because there was. I talked to a friend of mine, and I said he was a Stormcloak supporter, and he had no idea how the Great War what it even was. He was like one of those Skyrim players that just goes into it, ignores all the lore, and it's just like, yeah, death to the Empire, and those kind of people.
So me in 2013 when I first bought Skyrim.
It's okay. We're not all enlightened from moment one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. But at some point, I was like, here, watch this video. And I remember sending him a video that is deleted now for some reason, because the link was dead when I clicked on it. And it was explaining the Great War. But the guy telling it was so immensely boring that he said, well, I'm not going to watch this. I was like, yeah, okay. So, not like I'm the most exciting person, and he already said, well, you shouldn't do that. But what I decided to do was explain the Great War with visuals, so with the map that I made. I mean, in the first video, it was a terrible map, so nothing. I mean, the map itself wasn't all that impressive, and the video itself really looks like as if it's been recorded on a potato and literally just by some 12-year-old. But at the time, it was sufficient to at least convert my friend to an Imperial supporter, so well, goal reached. And then I didn't even pay attention to that channel from that moment on, to Imperial Knowledge. I mean, I had uploaded this logo, I believe, because I was like, yeah, I want to make videos. And then I had like important exams coming up. And after that, I just completely forgot I even had the channel, because the video itself, I mean, I didn't pay any attention to the video itself. I was just like, well, I want to do this maybe one day. I just put this video up now for my friend. And then after my exams, at one point, I was sitting with some friends in the backyard. And I remember one of them saying, well, are you going to do more Elder Scrolls lore videos? And I was like, nah, I don't know. Let's see how the Great War video did on YouTube. And apparently it had 20,000 views. And I was now a channel, without me even knowing, with 100 subscribers.
So you had no idea it was getting as successful as it was.
Oh, by the way, it wasn't 20,000 views, it was 2,000 views. Sorry.
Either way.
English barrier.
That's pretty
I mean,
large.
I didn't know it was a big deal. I mean, the release of Skyrim Special Edition, or at least the announcement, at the time it was still like, cool, they're remastering it instead of, oh, they're doing this again. But at the time it was really, it generated some sort of hype, and people actually wanted to know what the Great War was again. So that's apparently why my channel sort of had 2,000 subscribers. And I remember having one request for a next video, and it was on the Dwemer. And the moment I saw it, I was so excited to begin. I was like, oh my god, I actually have a request now. That I actually, after my friends left, because we were sitting outside, I'm actually pointing at my garden right now, but you can't see that, of course. But the moment they left, I immediately started researching on the Dwemer, and I remember putting so much time and effort in it and being real disappointed when I uploaded the video and nobody watched. But of course nobody watched. I was a channel with 100 subscribers or something, and notification didn't even exist at that point. But eventually the people came, and certainly the Great War video, it just kept growing and growing, and I just kept doing videos. And certainly in the first year of Imperial Knowledge, I wasn't at all that serious about it. And but there came a point, I remember, when the requests came more than I could handle. And I think that's the point where I started treating it a little bit more seriously. And at some point, I remember crossing 5,000 subscribers, that I was like, okay, now I really need to start improving my shit if I want this train to continue, because I was still working with the mic from my old headset instead of a studio mic. And seriously, my current mic isn't even that good. It's some Dutch brand or something. But still, that was a huge investment for me, because the reason I could pay this mic is because I turned on ads on YouTube. And it took a few months before I actually got some revenue, because contrary to people's beliefs, ad revenue is nearly nothing. If you're not going with a partnership, and I don't want to be chained to a partnership, you're not gonna have anything. And I can't say much about my income, because apparently that's illegal in the United States or something. But I can say that buying a budget studio mic, and then you're talking about a range of 50 to $100 in that range. Mm-hmm. At least at that point, it took me a long time to actually get it. It took me, I think, 2 or even 3 months. I don't exactly remember. But the moment I actually got my new mic, and I'm sitting in quite a distance from it, and apparently a friend that has sorry if I completely trail off, but a friend of mine came to my home like 2 weeks ago, and he literally said, man, you're using that mic completely wrong. For the past year, you've been using it wrong, and apparently the mic quality here now is not the ultimate mic quality for this. But even this mic quality was such a step up, and at that point I actually started at least putting some effort in editing my videos. I mean, I know they don't look like much, but I really try to put in the effort to at least to have them not be too noob-like, and I try to upload a little more than one video a week to be the absolute minimum, and then just some extra shit on the side. And yeah, I mean, we're already not talking about the start of my YouTube channel anymore, but
no,
that's like how the thing came to be. I mean, I more or less stumbled into it without even knowing it. And I mean, a friend of mine also has a YouTube channel, and it's Dutch, and I think I can say it without him being angry with me.
Go ahead.
The guy has been I'm not going to say what the channel is. It's I don't even think he uploads. Yes, he uploads. He still uploads. But the reason I'm not saying it is because I sometimes appear in the videos and he literally calls me by my name.
Mm.
So
Yeah, okay.
But the guy also has a YouTube channel. He uploads gameplay videos, not lore videos or anything. But they're semi unique, and the guy is actually pretty good at editing. His videos are better quality than mine, and he actually puts in a lot of effort. Certainly in the first year, I mean, I remember how I was like, oh man, it must be so frustrating for him to see that I put in so not that much effort, and he puts in so much effort, and he's not getting shit. Because even after so much years, he only has 400 subscribers or something, and he's been at it for twice as long as I am. So, I mean, that must be sort of frustrating, and at this point, he's no longer really caring about the YouTube channel. He's on an actual editing education. I don't know how to say it in English.
Yeah.
But I remember that, and also I see a lot of YouTubers, for example, the Half-Baked Production guy, and then KO from the Discord and Half-Baked Production, but also like Big E15. I mean, well, in the recent months, it's a little less, but certainly at one point I was just making videos from my own knowledge. I mean, I of course checked my facts, but I mean, I didn't have to put in that much research because it was about the fourth era, and I literally knew a lot about the fourth era.
That's all it is.
I mean, at that point I just had put in a whole year of research, but at that point I could just make them from the top of my head because I knew almost everything, and all I had to do was some fact checking. I didn't have to like hard search for my videos. I'm doing that now again with the random subjects because that's what I really liked about making the videos in the first place, but I didn't really do that anymore. And at that point it was like, it must be really frustrating for those people who are such small channels, like I once was, but they don't have the same luck as I have with the Skyrim Special Edition release. But I was like, okay, I sort of need to help them. I mean, not from charity or anything, but I see their content, like the Half-Baked Production guys. I know how much effort they put in their videos. But just because the Elder Scrolls hype is a little less, and well, I hope it comes with the with Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, the hype isn't that big yet. I mean, this is not the phase of the hype where people are looking for the lore. I mean, that's gonna come the moment that we actually have a trailer. And this is just a hype of like, and a name. This is the moment where people just are happy that it's there. But I mean, for them, it's not the ideal environment to grow. And I'm like, well, it wasn't for me, but somehow I got lucky. So the least I could do is help them. That's why I usually do shout outs to them. And I'm actually, and I don't know if I can actually say that or make them angry, but we're actually working on a big ass collaboration with like 3 smaller Elder Scrolls lore channels, where we do like a video. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but about 3 subjects and 3 smaller channels, and where I'm like the host and do the little parts between them. But that's just a video and a project that I wanted to do with them to give them like a little piece of the spotlight, if I make sense.
Yeah, I get you.
Because they don't get it. My channel doesn't get that many views anymore, and that's basically because the Elder Scrolls hype is just gone. I hope it will return in the future with Elder Scrolls 6, of course.
Yeah.
But when I did my channel first, it was really common for videos in year 1 to get for like 4,000 views, and current videos only get 1,000 to 2,000 views, and that's just because there's less Elder Scrolls, so less community. But still, it's like part of the spotlight, and the least I can do is try to share it so the people that are still interested also get introduced to their content. And because I don't know how I actually found some of them, but I mean, it was already hard for me to find them, and I want to make it a little easier for other people to find them. And I'm already talking for way too long, so.
No, you're good, but yeah. I can't remember if I was playing Skyrim and listening to videos and stuff, or just watching videos on my TV, and then this thing about something that I was interested came up, one of your video topics. I can't remember what it was a while ago. I was just like, and I watched some more of your videos, and I'm like, I'll subscribe to this guy. Seems pretty cool.
Yeah, that's about the same that most people do. They're like they come across one of my topics, they subscribe, and you literally like not all of my subscribers watch me anymore. Far from it, but there's a lot of people who are just like, well, I subscribe. They binge watch all my videos, and from that point on, they just don't care anymore. I mean, they never watch it anymore. But I have a lot of people who just see one video and are like, hey, I want more of this, and then watch them all. And well, certainly in this area of lore videos, it's like really hard to like bind audience because, I mean, I really recognize it for myself because I had like a phase a few months, I think it was just a few weeks, where I was really interested in Star Wars lore, but also in Lord of the Rings lore. And I just know those channels that make that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just watched all their videos and I subscribed, but ever since then, they haven't even shown up in my subscriber feed.
Like Star Wars especially because of all the movies and stuff and like all the Easter eggs they put in the Star Wars movies, those, when like you don't know what they are immediately when you go see it. Have you seen Solo yet?
No, and we're going to with a couple of friends.
Okay. Then I won't spoil it. But in the bad guy's office, there's some very major. There's a bunch of stuff in there that all of it is just an Easter egg. Everything in that room is a different Easter egg. I didn't recognize any of it until I watched videos on it, and then when I went and saw it the second time, it was insane. Like, one of the things brings back a major character from the old EU before Disney got rid of it back into canon.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars often does that. Just doing the Easter eggs, and that's really, I mean, it gives incentive to actually start that kind of channels. But it's the same for Elder Scrolls, where you have like this one tiny line of dialogue or this one little piece of text in the book where people just want to know more about it or want to know what it is, and that really,
like the Lusty Argonian Maid.
Yeah, for example.
Next lore video.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you don't, for as far as I know, you don't really see things like Assassin's Creed lore channels.
I've seen a few. I know of a couple.
Oh well, I literally don't know because I'm not that big of a fan of Assassin's Creed. But it was just something I did from the top of my head. But I mean, some type of games, they just don't really inspire this kind of channels because they don't elaborate that much on their universe. But certainly in Elder Scrolls, but also in, for example, Star Wars, and well, apparently also Assassin's Creed, then those universes are so big that certainly if you play only one game of the series and you only read like 50% of the, well, most people just read 10% of the books, even less, that are in the game. But if you only really read those little bits, you read so much things that you think, hey, what's that? Hey, what's that? Hey, what's that?
Yeah.
And then having a video about it is just so much more convenient than trying to read like a wiki page or something. And well, I'm not going to point fingers, but I know some YouTubers that literally copy the wiki pages.
Yeah.
I have a general dislike for most Elder Scrolls YouTubers. I'm saying most.
Yeah.
Because I want to be careful.
Like the ones who do lore and stuff like that.
Well,
not all of them.
Just generally, Elder Scrolls YouTubers are really clickbaity.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it in everything, but even I get infected with that sometimes. But things where you have like,
yeah, like,
okay, well, I really have to be careful with what I say. But videos like, okay, I'm just going to make something up right now because giving examples is just a bit dickish. But like the biggest tree in Tamriel. Those kind of videos, you know?
Yeah.
And then they just talk about like the weird tree or something. It's probably not the biggest one, but doesn't matter.
The purple one.
But I at least try to have, if I do such a video, just say that tree and then Elder Scrolls lore. I know it's not going to get me much views, but I just really hate clickbait myself, and I would really like feel bit.
And then all these people coming up with 10-minute videos on the Elder Scrolls 6 thing released at E3. Like, honestly, I remember the other night during the stream, I was flipping out in the Discord because I was watching the stream and I was excited. I was like, Todd Howard, please give me something, damn it. And then you're like, it's not that you weren't as hyped about it, but I was going to be very surprised if you didn't make a video on it. Just because.
Well,
I know that video probably has a whole bunch of views right now.
Well, it's not as much as the other large YouTubers, but
Yeah, but for you, that has
for my doing, it's quite
7,500
big.
views right now.
Yeah, I know, but I couldn't ignore it.
Yeah.
I have literally, I believe I said in that video, well, I'm not going to do anything about Blades in terms of speculation until I have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to do anything about Elder Scrolls 6 again until there's any concrete trailer or anything.
But if you didn't acknowledge it, you would have missed out on almost 8,000 views.
Yeah, well, I don't really do it for the views.
I mean, yeah, but still, that has to be taken into account when you do it. At least a little bit.
Well, I think that the making of that Elder Scrolls 6 video was the big incentive for that. Was basically, I got like 5 private Discord messages of people who asked me what my thoughts were on the whole Elder Scrolls 6 thing. And I mean, don't think I wasn't excited during the stream.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost 5 a.m. in the Netherlands.
Oh jeez.
I was still watching the entire Bethesda stream. I was like, oh yes, they're excited. They're announcing it. But I had expected more than just the name Elder Scrolls 6. They could have at least given us the name of a province. And I was really like, oh no, this is going to get people so friggin' hyped.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! This is going to be so much work in the comments too. But I like the fact that they announced it. Yeah. But I would have rather had that they just kept it quiet and gave us a proper trailer next year than do this now. Because just like with Nintendo and Metroid Prime 4 last year, I mean, sure they made sure that people were hyped. They made their stocks go up like crazy, but they didn't give us anything to be hyped about, and that's the big danger, because you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
I mean, we know that Elder Scrolls 6 will be in a new engine, because that's what Todd Howard said in an interview. Like, we're doing an entire the technology isn't there, so we don't know if it will be the Elder Scrolls gameplay we all love. We don't know in what time periods. Yeah. I mean, we don't know what time periods it's going to be set in. We know it's going to be open world. I mean, at least that we have that. We know that it's not going to be another Redguard where the gameplay is quite linear.
If it isn't open world, people will riot, because that's what the main Elder Scrolls titles are for. If they did another spin-off like Redguard, and it was and it was essentially like the older Assassin's Creed games, where it was a very linear storyline, that would be different, because it isn't a mainstay. It's not a main title.
Yeah, but the problem is that we still have the possibility for it to have that kind of gameplay, because say what you wish, but Fallout 4, for example, was more linear than Skyrim. I mean, because every faction quest was woven into the main quest. You were like pushed into the main quest to some degree, and for that reason, I mean, we don't know what Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna be. They get us hyped, but they don't get us hyped about anything. They get us hyped about the idea, that the thing that people have been envisioning for so long, all the expectations that have built up, they just gave now as like an exhaust fan for people to be even more hyped about their expectations. But they didn't give us anything to be hyped about. And that's what I worry about, because now people will get even more expectations.
And then disappointed.
I mean, of course, there is a possibility they deliver on everyone's expectations, and it would be amazing. But I just like with, like, I don't know if you were in that community at the time. I mean, I know you have a Switch now, but I don't know if you ever follow the entire cycle of Breath of the Wild.
No, I've never played Zelda.
Well, me and some friends followed Breath of the Wild in its evolution. Mm-hmm. Like the first trailer, we were so hyped when it said 2015, and then it became 16, then 17, and it finally released. But I mean, it was something completely different than we expected, and because they had shown so little, but they announced that they were working on it, so people got hyped.
Yeah.
But they didn't say what it was, and that's like for at least for me, because I had this with Zelda, because I don't like the Zelda open world. I know I'm in the minority, but still, I think it should just be the linear gameplay we all know and love from Zelda. But that's just me, I think, because a lot of people love Breath of the Wild. But I fear for a second Breath of the Wild, where when I'm playing it, I'm like, this is not what I expected.
Yeah.
This is like an overglorified tech demo of what could have been and not what is.
Yeah, the
And that's
closest
why
thing I can kind of compare that to is a couple years ago when they announced that Star Wars Episode 7 was coming out. Like, as a huge, massive Star Wars fan, I was flipping out. I was excited. And I was getting all into it. I was like, oh, what's it going to be about? What's this? What's this? This is what it's going to be. And then I went and saw the movie. And while I love the movie, and it's one of my favorite Star Wars movies, mainly because it was the first one I ever saw in theaters, I was disappointed because it wasn't everything I had thought it would be.
Yeah.
And after that, I'm like, okay, I did something wrong there. Now, it doesn't matter what movie it is, I don't go into it like all those people do. I will watch the first couple trailers, and then I don't listen to anything. I don't have anything to do with it. Because
I mean that's smart, but that's what I liked about the way they announced Fallout 4. They were literally like, they didn't say anything about it, and then they threw it all in our faces like, this is what it is, and it releases in a couple of months.
Yeah.
So nobody had any extended expectations. I mean, any expectations they just blew by having the release date so close and just say exactly what it is without having any mystery.
Yeah, and they've done the same thing with 76.
Yeah, but I mean, this is all mystery. Elder Scrolls 6, all people will do for the coming probably 3 years before it releases. I hope 2, but it's probably 3 or even 4. I mean, all people will do is build expectations, and whatever they do, it's not going to deliver on everyone's expectations. And I mean, there's already so many people saying that it's High Rock, and people getting super excited about High Rock, and I can see something in their arguments. But if you really want High Rock, you're probably going to be disappointed, since it looks like Blades is set, the mobile game is set in High Rock, judging by the architecture. So they're not going to do 2 games in High Rock.
Yeah.
In like 5 years consecutively. So,
I mean, for all we know, it could be set in Lig, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we don't know anything. And that's what's so frustrating.
And then that's also, I feel like, what they're kind of doing with Starfield, but like, there's never been anything done with it before. It's a new thing, so they have more freedom with what they can get away with this early. Like showing like a planet with a star coming around it, and then just this Starfield logo. That's, it's a brand new IP. There's nothing anyone has to build off of. The only thing that is concrete that we know about that game is that it is an open world RPG type game in space.
And it has a satellite.
In space.
Yeah.
That's what we know. It takes place in space. And that's all we can go off of.
I mean,
sure, the sequel to that game will be scrutinized, and it will be everything that people are doing right now for Elder Scrolls 6, or it's going to be done to Starfield 2, but right now we have nothing to go off of.
Yeah, because I think personally that Starfield is not even the name of the game. It will be like Starfield, I don't know, Jupiter or something, or Mars.
Yeah,
just like you have Elder Scrolls Skyrim or Elder Scrolls High Rock or Hammerfell, whatever 6 is going to be. But people, I don't know, that's why I really like E3, but I only like the announcements that are very concrete. I don't really like the logos you see. Well, we're working on this, but then people are going to hype, and then it's always going to disappoint. It just always does.
Yeah. So speaking of concrete and stuff that we actually have stuff about, what do you think of Fallout 76?
I have not seen enough of it to actually be hyped about it, but I really like what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Because I liked Fallout 4 to a degree. I know that a lot of people prefer New Vegas, but I don't know. I preferred Fallout 4 mainly because the gameplay was just that more smooth, and I know that people then often come with excuses. Well, that's not their fault that the gameplay is not that good in Vegas. Yeah, I know it's not their fault, but I'm not blaming them. I just don't like the game.
Yeah.
I just like Fallout 4 better. I mean, those people exist. And I really like that. And I have a friend that also really likes it. He doesn't like Elder Scrolls, but he really likes Fallout. And we can just talk about Fallout for hours and hours and hours sometimes. And I know that he and I are probably going to play 76 together. I mean, I can't do it to him to not buy the game and not play it with him after we talked about Fallout for so long. But I mean, the way it really looks like, I don't know if you know the PC game Rust.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks a bit like that. And
yeah, Rust or Ark, kind of.
Yeah, and I really feel like that if they price this at $60 in America and 60 euros in Europe, playing Rust or playing Ark is the more economic solution. Certainly, if this game is exactly almost exactly the same. They talk about quests, but they say that they don't have any NPCs in it.
Yeah, which
they talk about that it's a Fallout experience, but Fallout experience is made by the NPCs, etc. I mean, if what you're talking about is true, it's probably going to be Rust, but then with quests and the Fallout universe. And while that's cool, I'm like, is this really worth all my money? I mean, I want to see more before I actually get hyped, but just the fact that I can play a Fallout 4-like game with a friend really gets me hyped. I just want to see more of the game.
And I will say that of everything I've seen of the game, it is insanely accurate to real life, because I live very close to West Virginia.
Oh.
And like,
I have no idea. I don't live there.
Like where I work, it's like a quarter mile behind me when I go to work, right across the Ohio River. And
then it's fun.
A couple of the shots, one of the shots in the trailer was the state capitol building in Charleston. And I've actually been there, and from the one shot in the trailer, it looked insanely accurate. And
yeah, well, I suppose it's a lot more fun then if you just know everything that's there.
That's why I'm a little bit more hyped, just because I'm just like,
maybe I can feel like the gas station.
I've been there. And
what if I can blow up my gas station where I work?
God, Howard, please, I pray to you. But anyway,
just send them an email. Hey, I work here and here. Can you please add that gas station so I can blow it up?
Yeah,
thanks.
With a nuke. But yeah, there's actually some interesting story behind West Virginia and stuff like that, because there's this place in West Virginia called the Greenbrier Resort, which is actually in the game. Like that white building that had the really lush garden outside in the trailer.
Yeah, I think I remember.
Kind of looked like the White House.
Oh yeah.
That was the Greenbrier Resort, and under the Greenbrier Resort was a top secret fallout shelter that they would send Congress to in the event of a nuclear attack during the Cold War.
Oh, that's quite cool, actually.
Yeah, it was top secret for like 30 years. People were like, why does a town of 3,000 people need a 7,000-foot runway? Like, why do we need that? And it was top secret for 30 years, and then it was declassified in the 90s after, the Cold War kind of subsided.
But how will they get Congress there if the world's blown by nukes?
Well, you would have some warning time, and DC is not that far from it.
Yeah, okay, yes.
DC is just like a hop, skip, and a jump from it. So that's where they'd go. And
can you actually visit that place now, or is it still off limits?
Yeah, you can visit that place, and they give tours of the vault.
Cool.
So that's what I was thinking. In my head, I was like, that sounds like a place where Vault 76 would be. And then after seeing the trailer, I'm like, okay, no, it's not Vault 76. That could be just like a side vault that Vault Tech made that was required under their government contract.
Yeah.
Like, do all the other shit you want to do, but make this one for the government.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the Fallout universe, the government also has their private vaults.
Yeah.
I mean, like the vault for the mayor of Boston. I mean, he had his own Fallout shelter. I mean, that wasn't related to Vault-Tec. So maybe even there's just a government shelter there now.
That could have been something that was still built during the Cold War, but they updated it for, that war.
By the way, now we're talking about Fallout government. I was really disappointed when I heard no NPCs, because I was really looking forward to like seeing the remnants, not the remnants. The government, like the Enclave.
I feel like there will be NPCs. Like, you can't have a game like this without NPCs. Like, even Elder Scrolls Online, which there's a lot of people, it has NPCs. Like, the only reason Rust doesn't have NPCs is because that's not what Rust is designed for.
It according to my friend, it has NPCs now. I haven't played it for like a year, but there have been a lot of updates, and it's become even more RPG-like.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I haven't watched a Rust video, and I've never played it, but like in the beginning of Rust, it was essentially Minecraft with really
But
good
then not
graphics and
Minecraft.
guns. That's the best way I can
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah, well, you're right.
But it didn't need NPCs because it had
No.
a mining system, a crafting system, and like you could build your own guns and stuff like that. It had a system for all of that. But when you say you have quests and you need this, you have to have NPCs. What are you going to do? Have an actual person, like hire a whole huge staff at Bethesda just to sit there and be the NPC?
Yeah, indeed. However, what I personally would like to see in a game, but it's probably never going to happen because people are too egoistic, is really like a game where there aren't NPCs, but where you're actually having like a war between like 100 players, 50 on one side, 50 on that side, and where just one person is just picked by random by the PC to be the commander, and everyone has to listen to him. The problem is that people are too egoistic, so that's like impossible.
That's a really cool idea in concept.
But it's not going to work because 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to be just like a soldier in someone's army, but I mean, you would probably end up with like 10 soldiers under your command if you get the random commander, or just one commander, and then I mean, people would do their own thing because they're egoistic.
Yeah.
It always happens.
But yeah, Fallout 76 looks pretty good. I'm interested to play it.
Yeah, I'm also interested in seeing what comes of it.
Yeah. Are there any other like game franchises that you're really into?
Well, I'm contrary to people's popular belief, I don't game a lot. I mean, even my parents used to say always stop gaming, but I'm almost never gaming and all. I'm always making videos and always watching videos. I do play games, and I often play lately it's either ESO or a Total War game.
Yeah.
But in the past I used to play a lot, and I play a lot when I'm on the go with my Switch. Then I have it actually here now. Then I play either Rocket League, I play sometimes, or like the game I'm at that moment playing at that moment. Like a few months ago, I was playing Mario Odyssey, and when I bought Skyrim, I was playing Skyrim for some time on the Switch, or LA Noire or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually play single player games because I just suck at multiplayer. it's a sad truth, but a lot of my friends are playing the degenerate game Fortnite from college, and they always say, come join us. And I actually played it once, but I'm just so bad at shooters in general, and so bad at multiplayer. It's the only thing I can do in multiplayer is like Total War, but even then you lose because all my friends are just way better at it. For example, from the Discord group, Grandmaster Joffrey, whenever I play Total War against him, I did it a couple of times. I mean, he always just completely kills me, even if I'm just better in numbers or in strength. I mean,
yeah,
I can do a little bit of gaming, but I'm just not that good. Or like Overwatch, for example, I had to buy that because all my friends had it.
Mm-hmm.
I just played with them for a couple of weeks, but at one point I just stopped because I always got shot.
Yeah,
the other guys got all the points, but I had to rush in. I didn't kill any people, but they killed me.
Yeah, I haven't played a whole lot of games recently. Like, I've played a few, but I haven't played a whole big variety. And yet I have like 5 or 6 different games that I don't even have installed yet. Like, mainly because during the last semester of school that I had, every day of the week, well, Monday through Thursday, I'd wake up at about between 6:30 and 7. I'd get up, I'd get ready, leave the house by 8, take my sister to school, go to my class. I have a class from basically whenever I got there to 4 p.m. Then I'd go from my class to work from 4:45 or 5 to 10 p.m. Then I wouldn't get home till like 11. So I had no time to play games. The couple of times when I did, it would be like I just had class and I didn't have work scheduled that day. Yeah. So I'd come home, and if I wanted to play a game, I'd just throw in Skyrim because I've played that so much, I can just turn off my brain and play it. I don't have to learn a whole new set of mechanics. I don't have to do anything. Like, by doing that, I got to I think I'm almost level 50 on my character. And the only quests I've finished are the companions, the Dragonborn, and
I think about the same for me.
I mean, I've done a bunch of different quests, but those are the only 2 I've actually finished.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, I reckon, because my schedule is also, at least was until a few weeks back, really busy. I mean, I didn't really have that much time for gaming, and when I had time, I was usually making videos about the games I wanted to play. But I don't really have that much time for gaming anymore. I usually just play on my Switch just because that's convenient. Because when I'm sitting on the couch or something and my sister is watching whatever Netflix series she's watching now, then I can just play that while sitting instead of returning to my PC. Because returning to my PC is really like the first thing I see is all the messages I got, the emails I got, all the YouTube comments I got, and I'm always like, okay, now I want to make a video.
And then the video that you have partly done staring you in the face, like,
that's the thing. Except for like the Cyrodiil video I did a while back, the invasion, and a couple of other bigger projects. I usually just, when I start on a video, I want to have it finished before I do anything else. So I can be working on a video for several days after college, and then I'm just working, and I only allow myself to game or when it's finished. So that's why I sometimes just don't want to boot up my computer, because I just see the requests and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, I want to do that. But it's also, yeah, I don't know. And by the way, I'm looking at my phone at the comments under the trailer analysis, and I just love how everybody's saying, "Hi Rock, Hammerfell, elsewhere." And now there's just like one guy who says, well, I'm like 100% sure this is Black Marsh. I mean, I haven't seen anyone else who said that yet. And that guy's like, yeah, I know my shit.
Basically.
It's definitely Black Marsh. And I'm like, no. But never mind. It's
yeah.
But yeah, not much time for gaming, I must say.
However, yeah, I'm on there too, and I just see high rock from one guy.
Yeah, it's basically, everybody thinks it's high rock, and I don't know if that's because a very influential person said it's high rock, and now people are just saying it's high rock, or because everybody is suddenly an Elder Scrolls expert and all think that it's high rock. Because, I mean, Blades, I'm like 90% convinced that Blades, the mobile game, is set in High Rock, and I just can't imagine Bethesda doing 2 games in the same province. But that's I don't know.
Have you ever thought of doing like videos for Fallout or anything like that in the future, or are you just sticking to Elder Scrolls for now?
I have actually been working on a Fallout video like a few months back, but I stopped working on it because you have to understand that right now with Elder Scrolls, I have like a solid basis on my channel. People know what my content is going to be. People know their lore for the most part. I mean, generally my audience isn't like the audience that knows nothing about Elder Scrolls lore and wants to know new things. No, it's usually the people that are into Elder Scrolls lore but want to know new things. So usually I don't really explain the basis of the lore. Like, for example, when I talk about the Empire, I just immediately assume people know what the Empire is, and that I don't have to explain in every video, that's the Empire, that's how it came to be. I just assume that people know that. And that's why I can make the kind of videos that I do on my channel, because I know that my viewers have a certain knowledge, and I have a certain knowledge, and I can try to research and then expand their knowledge. When I would do something about Fallout, first of all, I don't know enough about it. I would really have to research, and I don't even have the basis. I mean, the thing I wanted to do was, I believe, a video on the Enclave, because I really like the Enclave. I was playing through Fallout 3 again, and I really liked the Enclave, and I wanted to do a video on the Enclave and prove that they're not that evil. Don't ask me, really. I wanted to do that, but then I realized I can't just do this, because if I do this, the people that do watch my channel, a lot of them have played Fallout, but a lot of them don't care about Fallout, and another segment just don't know enough about Fallout to enjoy this video.
Or they know way more than you, and they'll pick apart every little tiny thing you got wrong.
Exactly. So I would only be making a video for a really tiny fraction of my subscribers, and then I was like, maybe I should make another channel, but I just knew that channel would just either always stand in the shadow of Imperial Knowledge, so I would always prefer Imperial Knowledge over the other channel.
Mhm.
Or I would start to like the other channel better, and it would still be in the shadow of Imperial Knowledge, where people would just go away from Imperial Knowledge because I'm giving it less attention, and the other channel wouldn't get a lot of attention. And certainly because Fallout still has, certainly on the Oxhorn channel, a very healthy lore community. I mean, you can't hope to be better than Oxhorn. But in the Elder Scrolls community, there is still a lot of room for improvement, because as far as I've seen, there is no channel like me that really tries to cover some of the tiny details and like the politics of the universe, etc. I mean, sure, there's enough of them that try to cover like the metaphysical shit, but I'm not really interested in that. I want to compare it to like the real life universe, and because Fallout is the real life universe, that's already not really possible.
Yeah.
And then just the fact that in Fallout there's just some real good competition on YouTube, while on Elder Scrolls people are usually dissatisfied with the big channels there are. That's the reason why that's the reason why smaller channels still have a chance to get big in that area. Because I'm not gonna say negative things about the bigger channels, because I really used to like some of them, but I can see why people can get dissatisfied, and I can also see why people can get dissatisfied with me. But that's just no personal weirdness, I suppose.
No, I get you. Like some of the big channels, one channel I used to watch. I don't know if you've heard of them. You probably have. The Shoddycast.
Yeah.
I used to watch them. That's what first got me into like looking into all the Elder Scrolls lore and stuff, because that was like right after I got Skyrim, and I was playing the holy living crap out of it, and I was like, this is interesting. I don't feel like doing research myself, to YouTube. And then I just looked it up, found them, and then I just like binged all their stuff, and then they just stopped doing Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, well, they just stopped doing it because simply the hype wasn't there anymore.
Then they picked back up when ESO was announced.
Yeah, and now they're probably gonna pick back up now.
Died down. Yeah, they might. Because I remember that Fallout Storyteller series they did. Yeah. I love the concept of that. Like I thought that was really cool. And then they tried to do it with Skyrim, and it worked kind of. Because like they kind of teased some things about the actual character they made and were following, and they did like 3 episodes and then just never did anything more with it.
Yeah, well, I can understand their reasoning, because they're just operating on an entirely other level. I mean,
they have over 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, I mean, the Shoddycast is literally just like a company at this point, a small company. I mean, they have to think about their profits. A lot of people say, well, YouTube is going to commercial. Yeah, I mean, of course it has. If you want great quality videos, I mean, those people have to think about what makes money and what doesn't. Yeah. Well, for example, I try to at least not be completely dependent on my YouTube channel. And like the genetics video I uploaded, I mean, I know it's not going to get a lot of views. I know it, but it's really something I wanted to do. And the reason I can always continue doing Elder Scrolls lore, even though the hype is completely gone, is because, I mean, I'm just a guy behind a computer. There's no producer, there's no editor. I mean, it's all me. It's just my hobby.
Like the Shoddycast people, they have a whole bunch of people hired, and they've worked with the guy who was the radio announcer in Fallout 3. Like, they've worked with that guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a completely other level, and they just. I mean, I don't blame them for thinking about their profits.
The fact that they could even reach out to that guy is insane.
Yeah. Well, reaching out to someone is quite easy, because I have had contact with some people, even when I was a really small channel, that were a lot bigger than I, and even some people not Elder Scrolls related. Yeah. I mean, that's not that hard, but like working with them,
but actually getting them to work with you and get them to, that's insane. Yeah,
I mean, I already think that. I mean, for them, if they wanted like their own music in the video, I mean, it would cost them some money, and they would do it. But I mean, I'm now working on a volume 2 of my own soundtrack, and I mean, that's for me that's a huge step, because I don't know where it's gonna lead. I don't know if the investment's gonna pay back in any form.
Yeah.
But I'm not a company. I can do that, and I can just be like, yeah, sure. But
if it works, awesome. If it doesn't,
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, for them, if they would do something like that, they would hire a professional composer instead of just someone who watches your videos and
hire actual musicians.
I mean, I'm not gonna let him do it for free. Of course, I pay him, but I mean, it's not like a big deal. It's just like, well, if you have time, make it. If you don't have time, sure. But they are actually doing it in a more business-like setting, and they just have to think of their profits. So when I would do something like that, I would also stop without making Elder Scrolls video, and I would also go make clickbait content. Of course, I have to think about my business. I can't just dismantle my entire business. But that's why I try to at least stay just what I'm right now.
Yeah, like
because it enables me to do what I want, and also why I'm not going with a partnership, because at least some of the partnerships here in the Netherlands, they really just force you to make a certain amount of videos to get your ad revenue. I mean, you get more ad revenue than with Google, but they really force you to do that. Well, I want to remain it to be fun for myself, so I want to keep doing it. A lot of people really say things like, well, it's almost it's a long time since Skyrim, and you're still doing these Elder Scrolls videos. I mean,
it's been
how? I'm like, well, just because I like it. It's my hobby. It's not like a full blown job or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm treating it like a job because I can make money of it, and of course, the more I can make of it, I mean, the better. But I mean, if I would not make any money of it anymore, if Elder Scrolls hype completely disappears, if I just get 100 views per video, I would probably still continue doing it just because I like it. It's not. I mean, it's not about the views or about the money. It's just I really like talking about the Elder Scrolls, and that's just, as long as that's not changing, I mean, I will keep making videos. I am not forced by some business incentive or anything to do anything. If I want to stop, I mean, I stop.
Yeah, and then, like, the Shoddycast, they have to think about their profits. It's like you said, if they put the investment into their, like, making their own music for their videos, they have to make sure that they at least make the money they put into it back.
Yeah, but also, if, for example, they are no longer interested in Elder Scrolls, they can't stop making the videos. I mean, they have an editor they have to pay. They have probably some director
editors,
they have to pay.
Research staff.
Yeah, for
animators.
I literally don't know anything about them. So if they don't have that, sure. But I mean, I'm just guessing.
Yeah, you know, they're a big company.
I mean, I'm just guessing at this point. But I mean, they have to think about their business, while the smaller YouTubers don't have to think about their business. And why I will never start treating it like a business, even if I reach 1 million subscribers. Even if that happens, I'm not going to treat it like a business, because I know if I start treating it like a business,
it won't be as fun.
I mean, it won't be fun anymore. At one point, I know I'm going to want to stop with Imperial Knowledge. And I've always said, well, if that time comes, I'll probably just give the channel to someone else, because then this channel can stay a hub for Elder Scrolls knowledge. But if that day ever comes, I can just stop. There's nothing that makes me have to continue. While having a partnership or have your YouTube really be a business, that is a huge incentive to just say, I can't stop. And that's, I think, not a good model to have fun on YouTube. I mean, it's a model to make money, but it's not a model for fun.
Yeah. Like, I have some friends who are relatively big YouTubers. They just passed 300,000 subscribers.
And that's pretty decent.
I've watched, it's really interesting for me, because I've watched YouTube for a long time, seeing, oh, these are the videos. With these guys, because I'm friends with them, I'm seeing everything behind the scenes. And it's very interesting to see what it's gone from to when I first met them to now. Like, when I first met them, it was, they did, like, Star Wars fan films. And then some, like, reactions to TV shows and stuff like that. Every now and again. They weren't under any sort of schedule. They barely made any money. They didn't even have 50,000 subscribers. I don't remember how many they had.
Well, I don't have 50,000 subscribers yet.
Well, yeah.
So.
Since then, they treat it much more like a business now. Like, they've bought a studio space. They have a set schedule during the week that, like, Monday through Friday, it's like 9:30 to 5. You come in and you work. Then streaming time on top of that, and then stuff like that. And then Saturday and Sunday, is their time off. But sometimes they still do stuff. Like right now, they're at E3, and they had to essentially work every day for the past 3 weeks to make sure they had their videos that were supposed to go up these days go up. Like, they put out something stupid like 27 videos a week.
Yeah, I mean,
and then they've hired
treating
editors
YouTube like a
and
business.
stuff like that. And it's working out for them. It is really working out for them.
Yeah, I can really understand why it's working out. The problem is, sorry, I'm mixing Dutch words. I have quit my job, like, I think half a year ago, because I had to focus on my college. Otherwise, I wouldn't pass. And tomorrow I know if I have passed or not. If I haven't passed, no drama. I have to do a do-over. If I don't even have a do-over, well, still no drama. I know what I want to do then. But still, would be a shame if I didn't pass. Because I literally just quit my job to make sure that I pass. And the only bits of income that I get right now are like a really small subsidy I get from the Dutch state. I mean, it's nearly nothing. And Imperial Knowledge. And it has enabled me to at least go on a vacation with my girlfriend to be able to pay that, because she would have been really disappointed if I wasn't able to pay it. Most of it was still because of my former job. But at this point, Imperial Knowledge is my job. But next year, I change colleges. I don't really know how to say it in English. And when I do, I'm just going to work again. I mean, I don't want Imperial Knowledge to be my job, because then I know that I'm going to treat it like a business. And I'm not doing it now because I'm not saying that. Well, sometimes I say, well, I work at YouTube, but it's not true, of course.
Yeah.
Because I always say it like a joke a bit, because whatever people may think of YouTubers, you really have to treat it like a business if you want to make a lot of views, or you have to be PewDiePie. Either of the two.
And even he doesn't make. The only reason he makes any money is because of how big he is. If he wasn't as big and he still did all the stuff he has done, he would be broke now.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the guy is smart. I know he does a lot of things non-YouTube related, and I mean, people really treat like his girlfriend like some 12-year-old girl who doesn't know shit, but she actually started multiple companies that are doing really well. So, I mean, I think that at this point, for PewDiePie at least, he doesn't really treat YouTube like a business anymore. I get the feeling, at least.
Yeah, at this point, he's made what he needs. He's set for life at this point.
Yeah. But I mean, he does more than just YouTube. And at this point, he said literally, I don't know which video it was, and that was really a little bit of an inspiration to me, actually. He said, well, at one point I was starting to just dislike doing YouTube, to dislike to just do games always, and always be bound to a schedule. But I just had to, because it was my job. And at that point I was making, and at some point he was like, okay, now I'm going to do what I think is fun. And he could do that because he did multiple things besides YouTube. And I think that was smart to do. Because whatever, I mean, some people really like doing YouTube as their job, and I can really understand it. I don't know how your friends are.
They love it. Like, my friend, like, one of them, they're all annoyed by one of, I'm not going to say the channel, but people who know me probably know what channel it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have issues between each other. Like, that's just a company. They have, like, everyone will have issues between each other through the time. But sometimes it does get stressful when, like, one video they do every week is a mail opening video. Mm-hmm. People send them stuff, they open it.
Yeah.
They had recorded the video before they edit it. It's usually about 4 or 5 hours long.
Yeah.
Their SD card they had decided to just shit itself. And they lost the entire 5-hour recording.
Oh, no.
And my friend, he said he was up from, like, Thursday afternoon when they figured it out to Sunday night trying to get it. And there was no possible way they could get it. And to them, that sucks, because people have spent their money sending them this stuff, some of it very personal stuff, and they aren't able to show it off. What they ended up doing was they went back through and was just like, this is all we got. We can't remember exactly who did. If you were the one who sent it, thank you, and we'll there was no way of knowing that this would happen. That, like, you know, they did what they could. And
yeah, I understand, but that's really the thing that I'm afraid of, and it might sound a bit, I don't know, if I sound arrogant in this video, you really have to say it, because I'm literally just like criticizing other YouTubers I know, but I really don't want to be bound to that, and that's just because of my personal taste. I mean, some people love working in a grocery store.
I hate it.
I'm just giving examples now.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to work some time ago at a grocery store. I mean, I know that my manager absolutely loved working there. I mean, it's the reason he started working there. He loved helping people in the store. But just like YouTube, if you love doing something, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
I love making videos, but I don't like being bound to the platform and just to like be to be bound to make videos every week. And if you lose a video for that, that's actually a problem. I mean, I've lost 3 videos when my hard drive burned, and of course, it wasn't fun for me to have lost those videos. I put a lot of work in them. Since then, I always upload videos when I have them, so or at least put them on hidden, because that wasn't a good idea. Just have them laying around on my hard drive.
Yeah, because you never know, something could happen.
Yeah, I mean, one was even like half an hour long on the Alessian Empire, and I was like, that's why people always request that, and I'm like, I don't want to do that again. Yeah. But I'll probably do it at some point.
You already have the work. You'll probably do that like once it's like, Okay.
Once I completely forgot what I did back then.
Yeah. When was that? Like, how many years ago? Or was it like recently?
I remember what video came first, but when I see it, but let's see. It was just looking at Creator Studio right now. Sorry, it's not loading. I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay. But yeah, you know, when you work hard on something and then it doesn't work out, it's horrible. Like, you spent all this time and effort, and it's gone.
It was after the Ebony Warrior video when I was like, who is it? So it was 31 August 2017, because I remember uploading the Ebony Warrior video. Then I was like, yeah, Ebony Warrior, let's go down and drink something. And then that evening I came upstairs, back to my room, and I had left on my PC, but I had a blue screen.
Oh.
And when I restarted my PC, everything was gone.
Not the blue screen of death.
Oh, this was like the blue screen of nuking your PC.
Damn.
That kind of. I mean, it wasn't fun. I tried to restore my hard drive, but there was some kind of virus or something. I don't really know what it is. But now I have an SSD inside my PC. But at the time I was like working on 2 HDDs, and I actually had the other HDD is still in my PC, but I really don't trust it. I'm like, what if there's part of the virus still on it?
Yeah.
But I mean, I really need the hard drive space, because videos are a lot of hard drive space.
Videos are a large amount of space.
Yeah. It wasn't, while I didn't like losing my videos, it wasn't terrible. I mean, I was like, I wasn't bound to an upload schedule. It was like, I really need it. I mean, the next serious video only appeared like 18 days later. I mean, no, 12 days later. Because the 2 videos that came then were just one really short one on Gained and Shinji, and the other one in a collaboration with someone who just gave me an entire script for free.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a drama for me, even if I didn't do those videos, but still, it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you would like to cover? Because we've been going on for quite some time.
Yeah, it's been about an hour and 15 minutes. So, anything else you want to say? Imperial Knowledge, YouTube. Check him out if you haven't seen him.
Please subscribe. I will steal all your subscribers if I find your name. So don't let me know your name if you're a YouTuber, because I will come to me with my Dutch tanks that I actually hired from the Germans, because we don't have any tanks, and then I'll just steal all of your subscribers.
Okay, I'll let my friends know. So yeah, everyone, thank you for listening to this first podcast. I don't know what this is going to turn into. I just thought this would be a fun thing to do, and I'm not even sure of an upload schedule yet, but Zork, thanks for being on.
Yeah, no problem. Not like my time is worth anything. I can't leave the house still because now there's hot asphalt in front of my house. I see, so I still can't leave.
You can leave tomorrow.
Yeah, probably.
Well, this has been Bucky Sound Off, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.